Hello everyone, welcome to Alchemy with Aduarts. Today I'm going to teach you all how to make a self-protection bottle. We have our own bottle and a beautiful list of ingredients, but before that, protection for ourselves. As you all know, we wizards, we are kind of impractically dressed, so what we'll be doing is using our own sashes to tie them around us. What you're going to do is you're going to use one of your own magical sashes and seal it into an Ouroboros infinity. Then you wrap it around your hands, you move it high, and you move the back to your back. This way you have two straps on your shoulders. Then you move up your sleeves and put them around like so. And now you can mix without your sleeves getting into your ingredients. Now I, as most wizards do, have beautiful flowing hair, which of course is a staple of great magical power, but you do not want your hair to fall into your ingredients, which you very much want to avoid with any type of magic. So you tie your hair like so, and don't forget that beard as well. There you go. And now that we are properly dressed and ready to start making your potions, we can start making our luck bottle. For our ingredients today, we will be using lavender. I will be using my own lavender from Ecuador, as courtesy from my godfather. Dried rose petals, some white sage. Let's add some more. There we go, that's a good amount of sage. Then some aloe vera, cut into small pieces. The size of the portion depends on the size of your bottle. And as an optional ingredient, some honey. Now we will start with our finely cut aloe vera, which is cut into a fine portion so it can fit into the bottle. The aloe vera itself symbolizes luck and protection, which is a great foundation to have in your spell bottle. So we now just put these pieces in here. As they will now be the foundation, they will be the first to enter and the last to leave. You can also use dried aloe vera, which is my personal recommendation if you choose not to use our final optional product, honey. Next we have a good bundle of sage. Sage will represent the purification and cleansing, which will help you purify the bad energies in your life as soon as it goes into the spell bottle. It mixes together as a second layer of foundation with the aloe vera. The combination of this makes it so that negative people, negative energies, they won't suddenly disappear, but their power over you will become less due to the bottle. Now for this we already have some leaves already, but I'm going to crush them a little bit more. Magic. And as you can see, it's now finely crushed. We now simply put it in this paper conduit and add it to our bottle. It's handy to use something to actually transport the materials in order to keep your own workspace a bit more clean.
Otherwise, you're going to just end up with an entire table filled with sage, which technically isn't a bad thing, but it sure is hard to clean.
So, as we now have a first layer of foundation with our aloe vera and a second layer with our sage, we will now start adding the lavender. Lavender commonly represents spirituality, healing, and peace. Now these properties are a great thing to use on top of our properties for cleansing and luck and protection. All of these will mix together and make you a very powerful spell bottle combined with the rest of the ingredients to come. Due to this, your happiness will not be guaranteed, as it never is, but you will have more chances for it. Happiness is always work, but this will open the path more. And so once again, we put it inside of our paper conduits and put it inside of our bottle. Slowly it goes, but in it is. Now we'll just swing it around a little bit so that the ingredients get evenly distributed, and we end up with a nice even layer on it.
Which makes for the third ingredient to our spell bottle.
Our next ingredient is dried rose petals. Roses themselves symbolize healing and love, which is a great fourth layer to have in your spell bottle, especially as it is now mixed with the layer of protection and cleansing, as well as the second layer of happiness. The properties of the rose also will give you more opportunities to find love, be that platonic, familiar, or any other kind that you might be thinking of. And to the wizards that are thinking of that, no. Bad. And just as with the sage, for this ingredient, we will also be needing to crush the leaves. Magic transition. Ah, look at that. Always remember to separate the rotten leaves from the good ones. The good leaves, after all, will give you your desired effect, but the rotten leaves can also rot through the meaning of your spell bottle. And as we all know, a rotten apple spoils the bunch. And in a spell bottle, a rotten leaf can erode the entire power of the bottle. And not only that, in worst case scenarios, it can actually reverse what you make.
Which means you could end up with, instead of a blessing, a simple curse, which would be harder to get rid of.
And for this, we are once again going to use our paper conduit and putting it as the fourth layer inside of our spell bottle. As you can see, the bottle has now gotten a little bit fuller. That also means that this is near the end of our own recipe. Now for our final ingredient, this is honey. This is the potential last step for your bottle. This is mostly for any gods or deities that you worship yourself. As honey itself is a derivative of nectar, it is seen as an offering to the gods. Therefore, a spell bottle which utilizes honey is used as a potential offering for the gods that you worship. If you do not have any other patrons, any other household gods, you are able to just skip the bottle. If you don't want it to be an offering, you can just not use the honey.
If you already have their favor, it can be seen as an offering to ask for a gift, a boon, or a blessing. In this case, a strange combination of both.
I do recommend that all your ingredients are dried if you don't use the honey, just in case. But as for us, we will be using honey today. So we will just be putting that in here. Be very careful of any spillage. That is not for any magical reasons, just because honey is very hard to clean out of any surface.
Especially out of leather.
You'll be able to see by the sides that the honey is slowly making its way downwards, as well as tiny air bubbles that are moving upwards, as the honey takes the place of the air that was once below them. Now, back to the reasoning for having dried ingredients, if you do not use honey. For dried ingredients have a less potential for rotting. If the ingredients in a spell bottle start to rot, once again. If the ingredients of a spell bottle start to rot, the actual meaning of it, the power behind it, starts to erode or corrupt, which is something you want to avoid. However, honey, much like it being an offering to the gods, also gains protection from it, as honey is high in sugar as well as its own liquid. If something is covered in honey, it isn't able to oxidize, therefore the chance of rotting is much less. Now, you might be able to confuse this with the idea of mead or honey wine, which does in fact ferment even though it has honey in it, but of course the difference there is that mead itself is something that has water and dilutes the honey, as well as adds different ingredients to be able to actually activate the fermentation process. Therefore, you have no worries here, it is not the same as that.
This is simple, pure, organic honey. Therefore, there is no room for oxidization, there is no watering down, and your ingredients will stay as fresh as when you put them in.
Now all that is left to do is to actually poke the tiny bubbles that are escaping to make more room in case you need to add extra honey. And if you find that you don't, then you are practically already done.
And as you can start to see, the honey's made its way all the way to the bottom and it's made its way through. There are still tiny bubbles that are escaping. If you want, you can move around a little bit with a poker or anything small enough to put in your bottle. That way you can open small air pockets in case there are any left, which you can't see easily, which you can't be blamed for. And then you can put it away.
Then you simply cork it and you have a finalized spell bottle. With your layers of luck, protection, love, and happiness, we hope that this bottle will help you greatly in whatever future path you decide to walk. Now, one more thing that we happen to forget. Normally, you would cleanse bottles before using them, which is a good thing to do because any residual materials inside could add as extra ingredients, which could add meanings and powers that you did not want to involve in them. You don't want that, so you use a cleansing ritual, which I will be showing you next time. However, since we forgot it this time and already have the bottle, what we will be doing instead is doing an after cleansing. Now for the after cleansing, you'll simply need a bundle of sage and a smudging bowl. This can be your ingredient bowl or any other bowl if you don't have a dedicated bowl for smudging. Now we will just grab a match. There we go. And as it starts burning, the smoke will start to erode out of it. You will see that this smoke has, well, it has a white color. It looks very normal, but at the same time, its properties are very different from regular smoke. This actually has a cleansing property, which will help us get rid of the unintended properties of the spell bottle. Now we turn it around a couple of times, make sure that the smoke truly comes inside of an orb around it, and don't forget to have your own hymns prepared or any other kind of incantation. If it's a silent incantation, that is totally fine as well. Just be sure to focus on that, and you will be sure to have your bottle cleansed. And once it's done, you can simply smudge your sage inside of your bowl to make sure it stops burning. Be very careful and always make sure that it's properly secured so that you don't accidentally cause fires, because fires in a home or a wizard tower alike are not fun to deal with. And with that, what we're left with is a messy workplace and a functioning spell bottle. This has been Alchemy with Aduarts, and we hope that you enjoyed. We will see you next time for the next spell, ritual, incantation, or bottle. We hope you have a good time, and we hope you will keep watching us very soon. Don't forget, ponder your orbs, and have a good night.